Welcome back to Pace Immigration, paceimmigration.com, talking with U.S. and Canadian immigration lawyer Andy Semichuk. Hello, Andy.
Hi.
Today we're going to talk about Canadian immigration, and we're going to specifically talk about Canadian citizenship. Some rules have changed.
Yes.
For the negative, I assume, for a lot of people, but
A little harder to become a citizen.
right.
Yeah.
It's the lay of the land, so let's deal with it. What are the changes?
Well, a major change is it looks like they're going to set up 4 and 6 year program in terms of people applying for citizenship. So at the moment, if you want to be a citizen in Canada, you have to have been a resident of Canada for 3 years, physically present in Canada 3 out of the last 4 years.
Okay.
They're changing that to now 4 years out of the last 6 years. So they're making it more difficult for someone to be able to claim citizenship.
Okay.
There's some other changes. For example, they're worried about people who get false claims to citizenship, become citizens, and then the issue is, what do you do with these people? How do you correct the problem?
So in other words, they became citizens fraudulently,
Right.
and now they're not sure if they kick them out or keep them in. Or, okay.
What they're proposing is that at the political level, if someone gets citizenship involving fraud, and usually we're talking about war criminals and people of that nature, then at the political level, the new regime would be that they could be thrown out or denaturalized by virtue of the fraud involved. And there are a few other changes, but those are the key ones, and I wanted to comment on them.
Oh, I know you do. I was reading your blog.
Oh, yeah.
So,
all right.
Okay.
Well, with respect to the changes in the years, 4 years now, physical presence, I know they're trying to address the issue of people who are sort of flying in, getting citizenship, and flying out. In other words, they're not staying in Canada, and the citizenship is a matter of getting the passport and then goodbye Canada.
Right.
And the intention is right. I think this is a good idea to attack that problem in the system. I'm not sure that the way they're attacking it is the best way. Whether you're physically present in Canada 3 years or 4 years, I don't know if it makes that much of a difference. Just to draw an analogy, in the United States, to get citizenship, you have to have been a permanent resident for 5 years, and you have to have been physically present for 2.5 out of the 5 years to get citizenship.
Okay.
In Canada, we're saying 4 years physically present out of the last 6, and you, of course, have to have been a permanent resident for the 4 years in order to qualify. So it's a little even more stringent than in the United States. The one area that I think we could be a little more lenient on is in the area of spouses. If a spouse comes over in the American setting, the requirement is only 3 years of permanent residence, and only 1.5 years is required of physical presence to become a citizen in the United States. If they're married to an American.
Right.
I think that's a good idea in Canada. So, for example, I would stick with a lower threshold for spouses, just because I'm sympathetic to family unification, and what the heck, give the spouses a break.
Right. It also matters in the terms of they can start working and things too.
That's
and
true.
Be productive.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's another sort of area there that troubles me a little bit, and that's they're requiring English language knowledge. That's the second thing. You have to write a test and pass. Okay, well, I'm not too keen on that subject. I know a lot of citizens of Canada who never learned to speak English or French very well, but they're the most loyal citizens you could possibly find in Canada. And to me, I think that's the most significant thing is, what is your, is Canada here in your heart? That's the most important thing as far as citizenship is concerned, in my book anyway.
Yeah, I don't think you're wrong, because I remember growing up, it seemed more prevalent when I was growing up that there, the Italians from the old country and the Portuguese, there were a lot of people's moms and dads, like some of their mothers didn't even speak English at all.
Yeah.
They're great people, and they were permanent residents and citizens and stuff.
Yeah, I know a lot of older women in particular who love Canada and would die for Canada, and hardly speak a word of English or French, whatever. So, I'm dubious about this language issue, especially on spouses of applicants. I don't know why spouses of applicants would particularly have to know English or French anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Now, so I'm not enthusiastic about the changes in the length
I was going
of
to
time.
say, yes, you don't exactly sound
Yeah.
like the happy
I
guy.
think I like the American model. Call me an American lover, but I like the American model in terms of what they do with citizenship. And you have to swear an oath of allegiance in Canada as you do in the United States. I think that's important.
Curveball. What's the latest on this oath of allegiance I was reading about? Not saying something about the Queen.
Oh, yes. There's been a long-standing debate in Canada about whether the Queen should be part of our citizenship process. Not everybody is loyal to the Queen. Traditionally, for example, in Quebec, there's been less support for the Queen than in the rest of Canada, and some people regard the Queen as a symbol of the British English domination of Canada, and that Canada should move beyond the monarchy. The monarchy is an issue, so this is an attack on the monarchy, and there are people who believe that. We pay too much, and we shouldn't have a monarch. We should have our own figurehead, a Canadian as head of the Canadian.
Don Cherry or something.
Oh, yes. Yeah, this would be perfect.
right there on the $10 bill. Okay, so back to the citizenship issue. So is this going to be grandfathered? I mean, what if you have a permanent resident who's been in for 2.5? Does that now mean they got to go to 4? Or do they still get the old 3?
No grandfathering. When it comes in from that moment on, it's 4 years. So I've been rushing a few people through because they do qualify under the old regime before this change comes through so that they would still qualify. But it looks like once the change comes in, that'll be it. 4 years is the minimum physical requirement.
So anyone who's interested in Canadian citizenship and has permanent residency right now, I advise calling Andy Semichuk as soon as possible, 1-800-236-3060. And you can reach him at the email address you see on the screen as well. Andy, thanks for stopping by.
Okay.
We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Thank you.